Okay, the next planet we're going to discuss is Mercury as Atmakraka. So let's read the description of Mercury by Parashara. The most excellently formed of metaphorical speech and taking pleasure in laughter is Mercury, having Pitta, having Kapha, all wise, and of Vata nature. Okay, so Parashara is telling us that Mercury has Pitta, Kapha, and Vata, so it has all the elements within it. It's side-looking, so it can look for the best options available. And it's also multi-talented. Mercurial people are very good at multitasking, and sometimes it's very hard for them to choose a skill because they're very good at many things. It's also hard for them to know which path to follow as well, because they're just good at in many fields. They could also be very good at manager, because Mercury is also the manager of the affairs of life. Mercury is also a neutral planet, so it's got the capacity to switch between masculine and feminine polarities and roles. And it can see multiple points of view. Okay, so as we mentioned, it's side-looking, and it has all the elements within it, so it can see all points of view. And this is a very good quality, but it can also make them seem like they'll be two-faced at times, because they agree with all, as they can see everyone's points of view as valid. Now, what's the main job of the Mercury Atmakraka? It's to communicate, to manage the details of life, and to manifest ideas on the concrete plane. Okay, so in Vedic mythology, Mercury is the son of the moon. So Mercury would be like consciousness spoken, consciousness being the moon. So whatever somebody talks about will reveal what they're thinking, what the state of their mind. So whenever we see the moon afflicted, Mercury can make up for it if it's in a good position, and vice versa. Okay, now Mercury also rules intellect and perception. It's our capacity to analyze, to see pros and cons. It's able to categorize and assess situations as well. And if it's good, it can see all points of view, as we said. So it can see the truth, it can see reality. And that is why Mercury is actually related to the god Vishnu. Now, if Mercury is not well positioned, it cannot get to the right conclusion, or it might get wrong information. Mercury Atmakarakas tend to be friendly, kind, good-tempered, and can see all perspectives. So where the house that Mercury occupies is the house where it will try to be skillful and productive. Now let's remember that Mercury is also Rajasic, so they can feel overwhelmed by having to do everything. They might feel responsible for everything because they will want to fix things. Or they might see the problems in things. Mercury is also quick-witted, vivacious, quick in movements. They tend to have many friends, many hobbies, many skills, many things to do. And Mercury also rules over fun, whereas Jupiter rules over happiness. Mercury is going to rule over fun. So they tend to like fun and engaging with others. Mercury Atmakarakas also have good language skills, acting skills. They're very detail oriented and can be very good editors as well. And they tend to have a good sense of humor. They tend to be mischievous. It's never done in a mean way, unless it's Mercury is impacted by malefics such as Saturn or Mars. And Mercury Atmakarakas or when Mercury is somebody's star karaka, can usually make good partners because they can relate to us. They're going to be fun and would take things lightly. But this might not be easy for more serious Atmakarakas like Saturn or Sun. And another aspect we can look at is that Mercury Atmakarakas can be a little bit picky and focused on details. Now we're talking about the physical appearance that Mercury Atmakaraka can give. Mercury is a neuter planet, so it can give an androgynous look. It can also give a golden tone to the skin and a youthful look. And since Mercury has all the elements in it, it can give a very symmetrical shape of body, so good body proportions, and people tend to be attractive. Not in a beautiful way, but more attractive. And females can have this pixie kind of look, so that they'll be cute looking, more than beautiful, but very attractive. Now we're looking at the careers that Mercury Atmakaraka can give. And remember that influences from other planets are going to be very important. So planets that Mercury will be with or Rashi aspected by. Now Mercury and the Moon with the 3rd, 5th, and 9th can give a writer. Okay, so it could be the 3rd, 5th, or 9th. Okay, either one of those houses involved. Mercury and the Moon with the 6th house involved could give a healer, according to Jaimini. Mercury with Venus, with the ascendant, the 3rd, the 2nd, or 7th involved, could give someone involved in acting. Mercury with the 11th or 7th involved could give somebody involved in business or management of business. And when Mercury is involved with the 6th or 9th, it could give somebody who works as a lawyer or in something to do with the law, because the 9th represents law. Now Mercury with the 12th involved could give somebody working in something to do with research. And Mercury with the 3rd, 4th, or 5th involved could give somebody who works in something to do with craftsmanship. Okay, so something to do with using the hands, which would be the 3rd house. The 5th would be our creativity as well. Okay, so those are the careers that Mercury Atmakarakas tend to be involved in. Now, what are the remedies that can be used for afflicted Mercury? And by afflicted Mercury, we mean Mercury debilitated in Pisces or starved in Cancer. Okay, since the Moon is an enemy to Mercury, it's going to be starved in the sign of Cancer. So it's important for them to learn to be methodical. Mantras can be helpful for this. So Mercury mantras can be good. Also having checklists to learn to manage the affairs of life and daily routine. Different writing exercises to learn to organize ideas. Because when Mercury is debilitated, they could be a little bit all over the place. They could have too many ideas, too many things that they're thinking of. So it's good to learn to organize those ideas. Tutoring students on Wednesdays, Mercury's day. And also decluttering one's environment in order to organize thought. Now, when Mercury is agitated by the Sun, they're going to find it hard to ask for things. So learning to ask for what they need would be a good exercise. And when Mercury is starved by Saturn, they might not be happy with the information they get. So it's a good thing to be careful with what you feed your mind, and not trying to question things constantly, but accepting information without questioning it too much. Okay, so those are the remedies for an afflicted Mercury. And now, since Mercury rules over Gemini and Virgo, we're going to be talking about Gemini Svamsa and Virgo Svamsa. So let's remember that Svamsa is the place that the Atmakraka takes in the Navamsha or D9. Okay, so let's start with a Gemini Svamsa. And Jaimini's description of Gemini is itchiness, stoutness, and density of intellect. Okay, so what does that mean? Now, itchiness refers to managing the small, little annoying things in life. It can also refer to skin disorders because Mercury rules over the skin. Stoutness can refer to the mind being filled with too many ideas, so it's hard to see the truth of a situation. So, for example, if an astrology student has their Mercury in a Gemini Svamsa or Virgo Svamsa, or even another planet, Atmakraka, in those Svamsas, they could feel really overwhelmed by too many details and they wouldn't know where to focus on. Okay, so something they need to learn is to take breaks from information and to learn to declutter the mind. That's really going to help Gemini Svamsa. Also learning to stay away from distractions that stop them from developing their skills. And Gemini or Virgo Svamsas can also have difficulty with weight because of a vata imbalance. The body is going to try to ground the mind and they might put on weight. Okay, so the main thing for a Gemini Svamsa would be to learn to control the mind, learn to control all those little details in order for them to see the truth. So declutter the mind, take breaks from information, in order to be able to see the truth and manage their day-to-day life. Now, Virgo Svamsa, and Jaimini says that Virgo is pretty much like Gemini. He says, like Gemini as well as a small fire. Okay, so everything we said about Gemini Svamsa is going to apply to Virgo Svamsa as well. So working on decluttering the mind and the idea that they have too much focus on details and learning to control that so they can get a whole picture of a situation and see the truth. Okay, so small fire refers to our digestion. Virgo rules our digestion. So Virgo Svamsas tend to have problems with digestion. And now something else that's very important for Virgo Svamsas would be to learn to develop themselves, so self-development, in order for their relationships to be successful. Because Virgo Svamsas can have problems in relationship and there could be some sexual frustrations as well. So it's important for them to work on self-development at all times. So exercises that allow you to get rid of things that are not essential. Exercises to find your center would be very good for Gemini and Virgo. So helping to declutter the mind, to find your center, and self-development is vital for Virgo Svamsa.